Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your personal generative AI podcast. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Rust testing, specifically why the Nextest test runner chooses a process-per-test approach. It's a bit geeky, but trust me, it's worth it.
Ooh, sounds intriguing. I've heard whispers about Nextest, but I'm not entirely sure what makes it tick. Why the fuss about running each test in its own process? Isn't that, inefficient?
That's a great question. Initially, you might think so, right? But the brilliance lies in the sheer scale of the Rust ecosystem. Think millions of developers, billions of lines of code. Coordinating all that is a nightmare.
A coding Armageddon.
Exactly. The process-per-test model acts as a focal point, a Schelling point, if you will. Like meeting at Big Ben in London. Everyone knows where it is. Every OS knows how to manage processes. It's a universal language.
So it's like a universal protocol for test execution. I see. But are there any downsides? Creating processes takes resources, right?
You're absolutely right. There are costs. It can impact performance, especially on Windows, where process creation is slower. And tests can't easily share in-memory state. Think semaphores, caches, or in-memory servers. Those become harder to implement.
So a trade-off between performance and reliability?
Precisely. But the benefits outweigh the drawbacks in many scenarios. Imagine one test crashing. With process per test, it doesn't bring down the whole system. Memory corruption is contained. And test authors don't need to worry about global state conflicts.
That's a huge advantage. It sounds like a significant improvement over the shared process model used by "cargo-test". What are the coordination challenges with that approach?
Oh boy, "cargo-test" shared process model is a whole other can of worms. It requires a complex, three-way coordination between the test runner, a component in the test binary, and the test itself. It's a huge engineering undertaking to get cancellation, retries, and reliable timeouts working. Nextest avoids all that complexity.
Wow, so Nextest simplifies things drastically by avoiding that messy coordination. Makes sense. What about thread cancellation? I've heard that's tricky.
Yes. Thread cancellation is notoriously difficult. Terminating a thread abruptly can leave things in an undefined state, especially with synchronization primitives. It's a recipe for disaster. Processes are much more robust in this regard. They're designed to handle unexpected exits.
So process per test makes the whole testing process more robust? Is that the key takeaway?
Exactly. Robustness and reliability at scale. The process per test model, while not perfect, provides a foundational level of reliability and consistency that's hard to match with other approaches. It's the Big Ben of the Rust testing world, a known, reliable landmark.
So it's a bit like choosing a simpler, more reliable solution over a potentially more performant but significantly more complex one. Solid trade-off for large-scale projects.
Spot on. And that's why Nextest makes process per test its default, and will likely continue to do so. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Rust testing. Goodbye, and happy coding.
Bye-bye.